Prime Time Local News, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Saskatchewan government has reported 7 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, bringing the provincial total now to 278, with 12 people recovering. Meanwhile, here in Lloydminster, the fight to prevent the spread of COVID-19 is constantly evolving. Lloydminster's manager of emergency measures operations gave an update to the media today.
We're here for the Thursday, April 9, 2020 COVID-19 update for the City of Lloydminster, and today we have 2 questions from Primetime Local News. Question 1, we've heard about other municipalities dealing with people littering personal protective equipment. Has this been happening in Lloydminster?
So we have seen reports of personal protective equipment such as gloves and face masks being left in various high traffic areas across the city. I want to thank the property owners and maintenance staff who are cleaning up and removing the garbage and keeping our spaces clean and safe. By choosing not to use garbage receptacles, those who choose to litter put others at risk. In addition, by wearing gloves and touching those multiple surfaces along your travels, this is one of the common ways to spread germs. In addition, when we look at the city's infrastructure, items people are choosing to litter must go somewhere. Unfortunately, the place in the city, that place is the city's sanitary sewer system. What happens is these items can actually cause blockages in the city's infrastructure and lead to high damages. To anyone who chooses to wear these personal protective equipment, which we do encourage, please discard your items properly. This includes carrying a bag in your vehicle and disposing it in your garbage. If you do have any questions about what can go in your curbside garbage collection, please visit Lloydminster's website and /curbside.
Question 2, with the long weekend approaching, what's the city's message to people as they may want to visit family or spend more time outside?
So as we head into the long weekend, it's important to remember that practicing social distancing, including minimizing face-to-face visits and limiting non-essential travel, is still necessary. We also need to remember that public and private gatherings are limited to no more than 10 people. In-home private gatherings, as strongly recommended by health authorities, must be limited to only those living in your household. While we have been at this for a month as a community dealing with this pandemic, it's important that we remain vigilant. To get through this, to combat COVID-19, we must work together. And by working together, I mean staying home as much as possible.
Every day we hear more information on how often to clean your hands, clean your house, and more. Our Jasmine King spoke with Jody Herbis of BioClean Disaster Service on proper tips you can take to disinfect your home the correct way.
I'm joined here with Jody Herbis, and he is with BioClean Disaster Services. And now, since you kind of told me off camera, you guys have been dealing with a lot of business during this time.
That is correct. It's been very unusual times for everyone, including the disaster restoration process.
And then you also mentioned that there's been a lot of misinformation that you've been hearing that's been out there.
That is exactly correct. So one of the misinformations I'd like to speak about is the perception that somehow if a professional cleaner is called in to clean and then apply a disinfecting product to a home or a business, that somehow the disinfection is over, and that is just false. That is the start of a disinfecting process. You have to clean an area, apply a proper disinfectant, allow it to dwell for a period of time, which we can talk about later if there's time, and then regularly moving forward, someone needs to keep on disinfecting touch points and contact points within that home or business. So that's one of the misinformations right there.
And kind of like you just mentioned, you said people at home can start doing this after that you guys come in or after they do some disinfecting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. People can definitely apply their own disinfectants. Employing a cleaning agency or professional company such as ourselves, that could definitely be a step if you don't feel comfortable doing it. However, it's a 2-part process that needs to be followed the same every time. You first have to make sure a surface is clean. As an example, perhaps I'm dealing with a countertop and it's had dishes, it's had food, it has different things on the countertop. Applying a disinfectant at that point serves no purpose. You're actually misusing the product. What you first have to do is properly clean using just a regular surface cleaner, and you clean that entire surface the way that you're supposed to. Once it's clean, what you've been doing to some degree is you have been pushing some viruses and bacteria and germs around with the cloth or whatever that you're using, but that's fine at that point. Once everything looks visually clean, then the proper application of a registered disinfectant that's known to be a disinfectant under the Government of Canada website, then it should be applied. And it's very, very, very important, Jasmine, that the viewers understand disinfectants are not equal. Some disinfectants disinfect in 30 seconds. Others disinfect in 10 minutes. And that disinfectant has to stay wet the entire time of the disinfecting process. So now more than ever, make sure you're reading the label of the disinfectant that you purchased or that you have at your home or your business, and make sure for proper disinfecting that you're first cleaning and then applying the disinfectant as per the manufacturer's recommendations, not just what you think.
And then you also said there's been some similarities between cleaning for the hantavirus and coronavirus.
Right, so we have been doing hantavirus cleanup for houses, buildings, government buildings for years. There are some similarities, and the similarities make us happy as professional cleaners. So the difference is a hantavirus is normally due to animal droppings in an isolated area that stays dark. We go in as humans, we disturb it, and that's how we become infected. So it's almost more of an animal to human contact in a dirty environment. With the coronavirus, it's different, of course. We now know it's human to human contact, and I believe everyone around the world believes that same thing now. The nice thing is these are what are called envelope viruses. Now, your viewers can do their own research. An envelope virus is relatively easy to inactivate with a disinfectant. You cannot kill a virus, so don't kid yourself with that, but you can inactivate it. So that is good news. The proper application of the right disinfectant for the right amount of dwell time can inactivate the coronavirus, apparently, as well as hantavirus.
And what's the biggest tip that you would give someone who is looking to more thoroughly clean their home?
Oh, I love that you brought that up. Cleaning is always the first step. If you're dealing with dirty surfaces, like I mentioned at the start, and you're attempting to apply a disinfectant to a dirty surface, you're just wasting your disinfectant at that point. If you're isolating or stuck at home for right now, clean like you never cleaned before. Make sure all of your laundry is done, all of your hard surfaces, everything is organized, everything is packed the way it's supposed to be. Once everything is clean, the disinfecting process becomes easier. The proper application, I can't repeat that enough, the proper application of a disinfectant is how you disinfect a surface. It might sound natural, but we've seen too many people that they spray a rag or they spray a surface and they wipe it off, and that is not the proper application of a disinfectant. The proper application is to make it dwell on a surface for a period of time, remaining wet as per the manufacturer's instructions, and then once that is done, that surface is temporarily decontaminated, disinfected. It's very important to always hit your touch points within your home. So just imagine all the places that you go throughout your house throughout the day, or go to your vehicle and you're touching a gear shift and you're turning on the radio and you're touching this and you're touching that. So be vigilant now more than ever. So here at BioClean, we only rely on government websites and official health statements that are made. We don't rely on any other news. We may read the news to find out what's going on around the world, but we always want to rely now more than ever on government officials, health officials that tell us how to properly disinfect areas, how to wash our hands thoroughly, use hand sanitizer. All those things now more than ever should be important to your viewers.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today and for doing this.
Thank you, Jasmine, for having me.
Thank you, and best of luck.
Stay with us, more primetime local news after the break.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. The Lloydminster exhibition has been another business affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. I had the chance to find out how they're adapting to the changes. Jackie Tomer from the Lloydminster Exhibition joins me right now. And Jackie, first off, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you, Connor, for having us on.
No problem. Now, of course, with the Lloyd X, it's a little bit of a different kind of business with compared to some of the other businesses here in Lloyd due to the COVID-19. So how have you guys have been adapting to the changes that you've had to make?
Well, our business is solely based on people coming to our facilities for meetings, for events. So in this new guidelines of social distancing, that really does affect us quite a bit. So we have just been trying to do what we can to support Lloydminster. We've kept our exhibition grill open with takeout, curbside, and delivery options available. But other than that, we've just been working on some repair and maintenance and some organizing, cleaning, keeping our facilities maintained as far as we can.
Now, of course, we were talking a little bit off camera that the stock hit, like there was a few events that were going to happen in the coming months or so. I know you guys have had to cancel that. How much of a blow has that been for you guys?
It's a significant economic blow. Just until the end of May here, the Lloyd X will stand to lose. Our revenue generated loss will be about $400,000. So that will greatly impact us. We still have these buildings we have to keep the lights on, so we're doing everything we can to do that, as well as we're a community organization and we're here to support the community. So we're trying everything we can to help support and get Lloydminster through this. I always say that we're one of the hearts of Lloydminster, and we're just trying to keep that heart beating.
Absolutely. And is there a long-term plan for you guys if things continue to go the way that they do?
Definitely our board of directors is very active in trying to make some plans, lobbying the governments, trying to get assistance that way. We are a nonprofit organization, so we've been doing what we can with the government's guidelines and programs to keep the lights on and keep going.
Now, of course, one thing I do have to talk about is, in a couple months, Colonial Day is one of the biggest events in Lloydminster is happening. And, there hasn't been a decision made yet, but is there a plan for how things that could possibly go if this still is going on by the summertime?
Yeah, we're taking it day by day. Obviously, we want to put fair on. We want to bring the fair to Lloydminster. It's one of our biggest events of the year, and we love doing it for Lloydminster. At this point, there's no decisions made, and fair just might look a little bit different than it has in the past, but we're very optimistic that maybe by July we can keep fair going. We've been in contact with a lot of our people that are key organizers in that, as well as our board of directors have been involved in any kind of decisions that way.
Well, I know, like myself, I do enjoy Colonial Days, and I hope everyone gets to enjoy it this year. But Jackie, thank you very much for joining me, as always.
Thank you, Connor.
Many businesses are switching up business models to incorporate social distancing. Eric Bay sits down with Cameron Kay to find out how Agland is putting these measures in place.
I'm joined today by Cameron Kay of Agland. Cam, thanks for joining me. And now, obviously, it's tough all over the place with coronavirus, people trying to social distance. So what steps have you guys taken at Agland to ensure that protocols are being met?
Well, it's been changing on a daily basis. Obviously, a lot of it due to information that comes out daily from the governments and Health Canada. So a lot of it is, first of all, we're trying to keep our staff and our customers safe. Second of all, we're still trying to be able to facilitate business here so we can take care of our customers. And obviously, most of our customers come to the door are farmers and ranchers and essential service. We have to feed the world, or they have to feed the world and grow a crop. So we got to keep going too. So things we're trying to do is just trying to keep everything really clean, minimize where customers are going. We've locked everybody out of the service departments or just have customers come to the front door and through some lines there where we can make sure that everybody is social distanced properly and whatnot. Cleaners out the door for everybody to wash their hands before they come in and whatnot. And anything that we work on from a customer standpoint is clean before we work on it, cleaned after we're done. So we're putting those protocols in place too. And of course, from our staff standpoint, we're following the health guidelines as far as if anybody gets sick at all, they have to stay home, self-isolate. So we're going by the book on this one, of course, and trying to stay safe, but also provide a good service to our customers. We're fortunate to be in agriculture and be able to keep rolling, and hopefully we can keep going okay over the next few months and get a crop off and get another one in okay. So.
And does that come now with a bigger online presence, trying to get people to shop from home so not as many people are coming in possibly?
Yes, we have. We're actually very fortunate to have most of that. We had all that in place before. So as far as, customers can go online to our internet site and they can order parts online and look them up. They can call and we can do it for them. They can pick up parts in the parking lot, or we can ship them out to them. Still quite a few customers coming in, but we've got all sorts of options there for them to get parts. From a sales standpoint, everything's online anyway, so really easy for them to connect with our sales staff and our inventory to make deals. And a lot of that is happening right now. As far as the service department, lots of service calls going on. I know they're just having to be careful and clean and social distance and all when they're doing it. But from a service standpoint, we've got lots of space here too, so everybody's got a bay and they don't have to be around a bunch of people. So we're able to do a lot online, phone, and texting is a big thing now too, with people texting our people, and we're able to continue doing business and still obey the protocols that are in place.
And now obviously this is an evolving process, so how are you guys monitoring the changes and possible changes you guys need to make as this does continue to develop?
We watch the updates every day, both from Alberta Health Canada and the governments. Just trying to keep up to date on everything. Just more concerned with making sure we're doing everything we can to stay safe. We don't see our business really slowing down too much, so a lot of the things they're putting in place as far as help from the government to cover wages or unemployment and laying people off and whatnot. We're really hoping that won't apply to us, and we don't think it will. We're going to have a busy spring, and we've been in business since 1957, so we're fairly solid already, and that helps us a lot. We can get through some tougher times sometimes and just adjust. And right now, it's a daily adjustment, just trying to figure out how to get through it and make it work for our producers and keep our staff safe while we do it. So we're pretty lucky.
All right, we appreciate you taking the time today, and stay safe.
First General Services. When you require prompt emergency service, the first F word that should come to your mind should be First General Services.
Welcome back. Evan Kenny sat down with current CFL lineman Chris Johnstone to talk about the recent CFL announcement.
Joining me today is a guy who spent time with the San Diego Chargers. He played with the Oregon Ducks and is currently playing with the Montreal Alouettes in the CFL, Tyler Johnstone. Tyler, what have you been up to lately, especially with the CFL's announcement on Tuesday?
With the season extended a little, or the season start being pushed back a little bit, it was just announced, I believe they are at least till June 30th is when we'll be able to convene for camp. So with that in mind, everybody's kind of getting their off season, trying to get their grind going off season wise. And it's been a little more difficult, guys, especially O-linemen and really all positions, they like to get together with a group of guys, right? Normally, and, he's kind of feed off each other's training mentality. And, you're in an actual gym and it's kind of like your workspace in the off season. So the first and foremost, most obvious difference is, now you're at home. You may not have, I'm lucky, I'm staying with the in-laws right now, and we have access to a ton of equipment. My wife's actually a personal trainer at a local gym here, and they do the perfect type of workout for being quarantined. It's a lot of lightweight and or body weight stuff. It's kind of more explosion and conditioning, and they're kind of 45 minutes to an hour workouts. I do one of those every day, and they're horrible. They are horrible. like I'm pretty sure my mother-in-law is gonna have to change her carpet downstairs in the basement. I'm sweating all over it. They're horrible workouts, but they're really good. Definitely in better shape at this point than I was even last year. Probably just with everything going on, it's kind of the only thing you really can do in lockdown is work out and try to keep sane. So it's pretty much what it's looked like for me over here.
And Tyler, because the season's being pushed back, do you think, possibly there could be a shorter preseason? And with that, how will that affect you players?
I think it may. That's a really good question. That's one thing that it's hard to plan for, and you kind of have to step back and look at what time is really needed to prepare for the game. It's the way things are ramped in the CFL and the limits on training camp and practices during the regular season. Not having any full padded practices, things like that. They do a lot to take care of us as players. But we actually did have communication recently that will be more than likely. I don't think it's not a finalized deal, but more than likely it'll be a shortened training camp to allow for as many games as possible. My guess is there probably won't. If there are preseason games, there'll be one. But yeah, they're talking. The first foremost thing they're doing is talking about shortening training camp. So, it kind of just puts the onus on the players individually, which can be tough. Not everybody really thrives on their own without too much guidance and other team members keeping them accountable to be in shape and ready for what a season holds for you. Because if you come into a season you're not in shape, you're not going to make it through the whole season. When you look at the guys that are staying around the longest, like the longest amount of careers, whether it's in the NFL or the CFL, those are the guys that are taking care of themselves the most, staying in the best shape, and just spending the time on treatment. And it's hard to say. I think injuries might increase just because it's, we won't know till we know, obviously, which is a hindsight's 2020 thing at that point. But I don't think it can help. It won't help us injury wise with less training camp before the show gets going.
Well, Tyler, I appreciate you taking the time, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me on, and good luck with everything. Stay safe out there.